Good morning and namaste. Welcome to the Asana Sana Yoga studio. My name is Sana and today you're here for morning yoga. Today's yoga flow, we're going to focus a little bit on releasing the upper body and in parts of our back. Because a lot of times when we've been sitting a lot or now that we're getting back active to going back outside, we might feel a little kind of achy in our back and maybe in our joints just because of, inactivity and coming back into moving our body as we did before. So if you haven't already, please find yourself seated here on your mat. I'm sitting on a cushion, so if you have a pillow, cushion, or bolster you like to sit on, go right ahead. We're going to sit on that here as we get into our warm-up. Let's find ourselves here in easy seat and go ahead and uncross the legs and recross them the other way. That way we can work on our proper alignment. Go ahead and lean forward, shifting the flesh of your sits bones to make sure you're properly aligned here on your cushion or on your mat. And just allow yourself to feel your body and the connection you have to the ground or cushion beneath you. Just allow that feeling of weight, of gravity, just to sink in. Allowing yourself to connect through your root chakra to the root of the universe. Grounding our energy, calming ourselves before we start class. Excellent. And if you haven't already, I just invite you to flutter your eyes closed and go ahead and take some deep breaths into the nose and out of the mouth while I sound the sound bowl to get us ready and aligned for class. And now allow your breathing to slowly come back to its natural rhythm. Keeping your eyes shut, I encourage my students to always set some intentions before class. And as always, I'll share my intentions with you. I intend to lead you through a flow that is energizing and it will help you to hopefully relieve some of the stress that you may have in the morning or any kind of tension you may have in your back. So let's just take a moment here to set some intentions. Excellent. Now that we have our intention set and we're grounded and ready for class, let's allow ourselves to get started. Let's just start here by gently shaking the head no. And you don't have to do it very open. We're just warming up the body, seeing if we can get a little bit more open with each pass. But be gentle on yourself. You certainly don't want to throw your neck out. Excellent. From here, let's slow ourselves down to center. Start nodding yes. Again, with the intention of just opening up, warming the neck muscles. See if we can get a little bit open more with each pass, being ever so gently on the neck. Wonderful. Slow it down to center and start just rotate, going up to the left, down to the right. Warming up that neck. Make sure we're breathing through this, breathing through the nose. If it helps, inhale as you're going up, exhale as you're coming down. Very good. Slow ourselves coming down to center. Let's do it the opposite direction. So it's inhale going down to the left, exhale going up to the right. Inhale, exhale. Warming up the neck, allowing those neck circles to get even larger as we move through this warm-up. Excellent. If you can feel, you start to feel them pull here, feeling the fascia loosen up. Excellent. Let's slow ourselves down, bringing our head to center. Let's inhale those hands up and overhead, stretching the arms. Let's go ahead and grab the palms and just give ourselves a stretch a little bit here. Excellent. Let's release our palms. Bring our left arm to a 45-degree angle. Let's take that right palm, resting on the top of the head here. Let's gently lower our ear and do it gently, because if you slept wrong last night, you'll find out. Lower that right ear to that right shoulder, allowing the fascia just to simply stretch and loosen, releasing tension. If you did sleep wrong, this will be a nice way to kind of help you loosen up any kind of neck kinks you might have. But let's just leave that left arm at a 45 degrees, allowing our hand as a gentle counterweight here to slowly pull open that neck fascia. Keep breathing and allow yourself to relax, dropping the shoulders with each exhale. You might feel your left arm start to sink, and that's perfectly well. That's what you want. Let's take one more breath here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Wonderful. Let's release the head. Leave the arm here. Let's turn to our right. Drop the chin this time to the chest. We're going to keep the hand on the back of the head, just the same as before. This time we're going to focus on loosening up the fascia in the back of the neck here on the left side. So breathe into that release. You might feel some more dropping. You might feel it easier to drop the shoulders now because it's starting to loosen up in that upper back area here. Oh, it's such a wonderful stretch. Keep breathing through the nose. Excellent. Take one more breath. Exhale, release slowly. And just let's roll the shoulders really easy. Easy roll. Now let's do the other, same thing for the other side. Inhale those hands up to 45 degrees, dropping the right arm at 45. We're going to drop that left ear to the shoulder using our hand here. Excuse me. Using our hand and trying not to hit our mic pack to release that arm sitting up, making sure we're having that good posture so we're not hunching forward, allowing our shoulders to drop, letting our neck ease open here with our breath. Feeling a little bit more tension release with each exhale. And while you're doing this, note the changes between the left and the right side. It might be a little easier to stretch one side versus the other, depending on what side you sleep on or which side you're dominant with. I find my right side is a little bit harder to stretch as I am right side dominant, but sleep on my left. So, interesting. Let's take one more breath in this pose. Coming to release. Let's turn our head to the left again, this time dropping that chin to the chest, using that palm just to pull down, keeping the right arm at that 45-degree angle. If you notice, my right arm is not touching the mat just like it was on the other side. But I'm feeling a release in the back. Here it is. Oh, that feels nice. Keep breathing. And let's do one more breath in this pose here. Excellent. After that exhale, slowly release, bringing the head up ever so slowly, returning the hands to the thighs or the knees. Let's move down to the shoulders. So we're just going to roll the shoulders up and back and start slowly with this one. We did just release some fascia, so it might be a little tense. Don't want to pinch anything back there. Up and back. Breathing through the nose. Excellent. Slow it down, going back to the front this time. Rolling the shoulder, opening it up. Allowing your chest to open as you open your shoulders. Now let's alternate sides, alternate directions. Releasing the tension in the shoulder. Wonderful. Let's slow it down, coming to stillness. Let's bring our arms up and overhead, dropping that right palm down behind the back. You're just going to gently grab that elbow and help to slide it over as you exhale, pulling that arm gently with the left palm here, and allow yourself to open up. We're just opening up the chest and the side body. Breathing into that stretch. Feeling the right arm sink more and more to the left, bringing that elbow to center, stretching out. Wonderful. And listen to your body here. If you can only get it so far today, that's perfectly great. Let's take one more breath in this pose. Excellent. Let's release here. Bringing the arms to a T. Let's send this right arm this time across the chest, using that left to hug ourselves, bringing it back. You may either hug your body if you need it today, or keep that arm extended out, however you'd like. And if you'd like to extend your pose, you can face to the right here, just bringing a gentle twist into the body. Bringing that shoulder over, opening the back of the shoulder here. Remember to drop the shoulders, roll them down from the ears. It's a little difficult, I know, but it'll get a good moving, working stretch in here. Excellent. Let's take another breath. And with our exhale, releasing that arm, let's wrap our right arm this time around the body, grabbing the wrist with our left palm, and we're just going to pull gently. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and drop your left ear to your left shoulder. This will open up that neck again a little further down, bringing it down the shoulder. Releasing into this tension, just a gentle tug. Remember to keep that left shoulder down from your ear. I know I do it myself. No worries here. Breathing in. And let's take one last breath here. Inhale. Let's exhale and release. Bringing everything to center. Let's roll out the shoulders. Ooh. Let's note the difference between the shoulders too. Does this shoulder feel a little bit looser than this one? This one feel a little tighter? I don't know. I hope so. Awesome. Let's inhale. Let's bring those arms up overhead this time, dropping the left hand behind the back, grabbing that elbow, bringing it over. And this is a great tricep stretch as well if you lift weights or if you are sore in the triceps from any other thing. This will help loosen up those triceps and that side body as well. You can even kind of push in if you need to. If you notice, I definitely need to. It's feeling really good. And remember, with each exhale, allowing that arm just to slide over, leaning into that stretch. Keeping the shoulders down, breathing through the nose, keeping the head at a neutral gaze. Let's take one more breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Excellent. Let's release. Wonderful. Let's wrap that arm around the front this time, grabbing it in through a hug. Remember, you can hug yourself if you like, or just keep your arms straight out. Facing the left this time if you like. Exhaling, allowing the back of the body to open up. Breathing gently. And let's take one last breath from here, inhaling through the nose. And as we exhale, allowing our arm to release, allowing it to come behind the back, that left our hand, grabbing that left wrist, that was correct, with the right palm. Just gently stretching the arm, dropping the ear to the right here, dropping that shoulder as I'm sitting on a pad. It's a little hard to do, but dropping that shoulder, opening up that neck there, allowing the rest of the chest to open up. And remember to keep breathing. Each exhale is to soften our body and to let us release into that gentle pull, allowing tension to relax out. And let's take one last breath in this pose. Inhale into the nose, and as we exhale, release. Roll in the shoulders, allowing the hands to come to the lap. Wonderful. Let's keep this trainer moving. Let's inhale. And as we inhale, let's slowly begin to open the chest up, bringing the chest up and out as we arch the back, inhaling, filling the belly, filling the lungs. And as we exhale, let's curl the spine, sending the belly button to the spine, exhaling, releasing all of that air from the belly and from the lungs as we come into our seated cat-cows. So inhale, open up the back. Exhale, release. And let's just do his here at a few breaths, going at your own pace, warming up the spine before we get to our sun salutations. See if we can go a little deeper each time with each inhale and exhale. Excellent here. Let's slow it down. And maybe as we come forward, let's start to go to the right, sending ourselves over to the left as we exhale, scooping back. Rotating now in those cat-cows. Then you can use your hands as leverage on your knees here. Rotating that spine one more time. Last time here. Up through the right, back in there. Settling in that neutral spine. Let's reverse, going towards the left this time. Circling towards the right, coming back and exhale. Inhale to the left, front. Start to exhale, out. Here we go. In, front, exhale. Here we go. One last time. Wonderful. And let's find ourselves ending here. Just a gentle rollout. Fixing the spine, coming back up to seated, aligning ourselves here. Wonderful. Well, now that we've warmed up the top half of our body, let's start the bottom half and the rest of our body. I'm just going to remove my cushion. And I will find you here at the top of our mat. Excellent. And before we get started, you can go ahead and stand at the top of the mat. I'm just going to stand here so you can see me better. Let's talk about alignment. We're going to keep our feet hip width apart, and you can eyeball that just by using your fists or using your hands here right around where your hips are. So keep that hip width apart. Let's relax those knees, keeping them nice and soft. See me from the side here. You don't want to lock your knees up. Keep them nice and soft. Knees over ankles. Your hips are going to be over your knees. And you're going to roll those shoulders up and back, sending the ribs out to a flare. We're going to pull the ribs in and down. And right here with our pelvis, we're going to make sure our pelvis is in that neutral tilt. Remember, it's a bowl, so you don't want to be out too much or into here. Just allow ourselves to settle in, keeping the rib points over the hip points. Let's inhale, rolling the shoulders up and back once more, keeping that rib in and tight. We want our ears to be over our shoulders, arms at the sides, and our gaze forward with our chin parallel as before. So that's how we are in our neutral pose. So whenever we start and say, let's find ourselves standing, we're here in our neutral pose. The same for seated, except you're just going to have your legs crossed, flesh of your sits bones out, and everything else from here up in alignment. So let's get started. The top of the mat, let's inhale, bringing those hands up and overhead. Exhale, bending over, coming to the mat with those hands. And don't worry about if you can touch the floor or not right now. We're just starting. Let's gently bend our knees, allowing the hands to touch the mat. Taking a step back, and you may even use your knees here because it is the early morning. Let's find ourselves easily coming down into our plank. And let's inhale coming up, and we're just going to come up into a short cobra. You may extend your cobra up all the way, but you don't have to come into a downward dog yet. We're just opening up, warming up the body, getting started for our flow. From here, we're going to curl our toes. Let's get our hands underneath our shoulders and take a deep breath. And as we exhale, we're just going to bend the knees coming up into our tabletop, extending our hips up into the air, exhaling into our downward dog. From here, let's walk out those feet by gently bobbing up your heels, warming up the back of the legs. Oh, this feels really nice. Waking up the body, allowing the cells to get in motion. Wonderful. Let's slow ourselves down. Inhale. Let's send that right leg, up into the air. Exhaling, bringing it to the front of the mat to rest between the hands. Let's inhale, coming up, keeping ourselves facing forward. We're going to settle here into our Warrior One Crescent Pose. And if you'd like, you may interlace the fingers. Inhaling, reaching back, opening up the chest, dropping the head. And let's exhale as we drop our hands forward. Let's get ourselves into our plank and lower down. Inhale, cobra up, upward dog. How are you feeling? Great. Let's curl those toes. Exhale, coming into that downward dog once more. This time, instead of walking, let's just go right into sending that left leg up to the air. Inhale. Exhale, placing it down on the mat. Let's inhale, coming up into our Warrior One, or if you like, Crescent Pose. Inhaling, sending the body up and back, releasing the hands with an exhale, coming down to the mat once more. Let's send ourselves down and up. Again, coming into that Cobra Pose. Curling those toes, let's exhale, sending the hips up into the air. Let's go ahead and just walk ourselves forward. It's our first one, no need to jump. Hanging out here in our downward hang, we're just going to inhale, halfway flat back. Exhale, hands back down. It's inhale, bringing the hands up and overhead. Exhaling, coming into prayer pose. Wonderful. That was our first sun salutation of the day. So let's do number 2. Starting here, same position, feet in neutral. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Let's exhale, swan diving it forward. This time, let's hang out here for just a moment. If you'd like, and you have a block, you can go ahead and grab that, placing the hands here on the block. That'll help you with your flow today. If not, if you'd like to, you can also go ahead and grab onto your elbows here. And we're just going to allow ourselves to hang out for just a minute. Make sure you keep breathing. We're just allowing the back and the hamstrings to release. And you may find as you breathe, you feel like you're sinking a little bit from the front half. Remember to send your hips up into the sky, keeping those hips nice and square to the front, keeping these legs unlocked out, but you'll feel a nice, gentle opening, even if you're using this block here. And you may use your block in any way you like. But holding here, let's just start to sway the hips a little bit here, back and forth. And you can feel different muscles start to wake up in the body there. And you can keep your arms like this if you'd like, coming into ragdoll. Just another ragdoll variation, allowing your head to relax. Maybe nod it yes, shake it no, but letting that head just hang and dangle. Loosening those body, feeling the upper half releasing. Wonderful. Let's slow ourselves down, coming back to stillness. And if you have a block, have your hands on your block. And if you have your hands grabbing your elbows, release your hands to the mat, to the floor. Let's remove the block out of the way. Let's inhale, halfway flat back. Exhale, let's place those hands down the mat. And let's go ahead and plank down. We can do this. Planking it down. Let's come on up into that up dog where you're up on your thighs if you can. If not, keep it in cobra. Up dog here. Let's curl those toes. Exhale, coming into that downward dog. And now do you feel the opening in the back of that body? It may be easier now to drop your chest to the mat, coming into that downward dog. In fact, drop your chest to the mat. Really use your palms, spreading the fingers, pushing the floor away. Let's release that upper back. Let's hold our hips up in the air, maybe even bending the knees if you need to. Really stretching, like watching a puppy stretch themselves. Allow yourself to push yourself back like that. Feels good. You might feel a little bit more open in the back of the leg there, opening that body. Excellent. Let's keep ourselves in this position here, shifting the weight. Let's inhale, send that right leg up into the sky once more. Let's exhale, placing it in the mat somewhere between the hands-ish. Let's drop that back foot on an angle. As we come up, let's cartwheel those hands coming up into a warrior two. I love a warrior two in a morning sun salutation, because warrior two is very much about being in the present. You have your hand in front here. That was looking into the future, your hand in back that's in the past, and you have you here, right in the center, presently. Excellent for mornings. So there's my spiritual moment for the day. Holding here, let's inhale, straighten that front leg, cartwheel the hands, turning the foot. Let's come back down, coming back to our upward dog. Exhaling. Wonderful. Let's inhale, sending those hips into the air, exhaling, getting back into that downward dog, shifting the weight onto that right foot. Let's send the left foot up into the air this time, bringing that down onto the mat, dropping the foot just as well. I'm going to turn so you can see me, coming into that warrior two. Excellent. Holding here just for a moment, breathing, becoming present in the moment. Wonderful. Let's cartwheel those hands down to the mat, dropping down. Come into that plank, back into our upward dog. From here, curling those toes, exhaling, sending the hips into the sky. Let's hop, skip, or jump our way to the top of the mat. Inhale, coming up flat back. Exhale, down to the mat again. Let's inhale, hands up to the sky. Coming into prayer pose. Excellent. And I think we are ready for our flow. So hopefully you do feel all kinds of warmed up, loosey-goosey, and ready to go. And again, we're going to be working on that back here. So let's find ourselves coming down onto the knees into hero's pose. You may face the long way of the mat here. Excuse me for just 1 second while I get some water. I very much encourage water breaks in the class. So we're just coming here, kneeling. And from kneeling, we're just going to bring ourselves up into our tabletop position. We're just going to fix our alignment real quick, same as before. Those knees are going to be hip width apart, and this is easier to see. You'll see if your leg is out more than it needs to be or in more than it needs to be. The feet are going to stay parallel to behind the legs here and parallel to the mat. You may curl your toes if you'd like. You may keep them flat, totally up to you. You want your wrists underneath your elbows and your elbows underneath your shoulders. Head in neutral position by gazing at the top of that mat. Shoulders up and back and down. So rolling them back and down. I know it's very odd to think about keeping your shoulders from your ears, but see how my shoulders up by my ears? Keeping them down. Here we are. Let's take an inhale and open up our knees to the side of the mat. As we exhale, let's reach our hands forward, pushing ourselves back to release the hips, sitting back on our feet here, coming into an extended child's pose. Now we're just going to hold this pose here for a few breaths. Breathing, sinking our bottom even further and further to the mat. And if you'd like and you have a block, you may place it underneath your bottom here for a little bit more support. But we're just going to extend the arms up and out of the shoulder blades here, allowing a gentle release. You may place your chin on the mat if you'd like, or your forehead, or even on a block. But just holding here, breathing, releasing. Excellent. From here, let's lift ourselves ever so gently and just walk over with the hands to the right side. Exhaling, coming into an extended child pose here, allowing that left side to open. So as we exhale, releasing into that left, feeling that pull, feeling the ribs slightly part, allowing the body to open up there. Breathe deeply. And as you're breathing, send your breath to the hips. It'll fill up your lungs and your belly, allowing you to sink just a little bit more. One more breath in this direction. Let's inhale those fingertips up once more, walking over to the left side, allowing the self to release as we exhale, coming into extended child's pose to the left. Oh, I love this pose. It's just wonderful. I can relax, let myself breathe. Wonderful. Let's take one more breath here. Inhale, exhale, softening the body. Great. Let's find ourselves walking those hands back to center here, sliding them back as we gently push ourselves up, and do come up gently because we have been in a child's pose. Those hips are going to be a little ginger. Bring the knees back into that alignment, the hands back into alignment. Remove your brick if you have one. As we're here, spread out the fingers. We're just going to inhale, releasing the belly, dropping the belly, allowing the hips to curl up, releasing the head up, keeping those shoulders down, coming into a cow here. Let's exhale, releasing the head, releasing the shoulders, arching the back, coming into cat. And let's just do this with a couple of breaths here, keeping the shoulders down. Breathing through the nose. You may exhale through the mouth in this position. This is good for waking up the spine, warming up the back. Let's slow ourselves down here to center and just begin to wag the tail, allowing the body to corkscrew. Allow yourself, just starting with the hips, corkscrewing the hips around, just like that. Lower body opening up, maybe releasing, going the other direction too. This will open up that lower back as well. And now get a little bit more open with the movements, allowing that corkscrew to come up to the body, feeling the shoulders release, opening in that way, slowing it down, going the other direction. So if you need to start slowly here and warm yourself up, coming into that cat cow, go right ahead. But you can feel your back begin to release. And sometimes it's just a little bit of movement needs to move out all the kinks. Go ahead and move to your own natural rhythm. If you have any music on, go ahead and move to your music. I don't have any music on, so I'm making up my own rhythm today. But just moving, going fluid, letting the body wave through. Let's do one last breath here in this movement. Excellent. Slow ourselves down, bringing ourselves back into that center here. Let's get a moving. We're going to inhale. Let's take that right hand right off the mat. Let's slide it underneath the left, underneath, right around where the chest is. Exhale. Let's drop our upper half to the mat here, sending the booty up into the air, extending the left arm, allowing yourself just to stretch out your shoulder once more, this time using gravity to help out with that as we thread the needle. Breathing here. Releasing the tension from that upper back. Just breathing into that. This is too much. You may keep yourself up just a little bit here on a block, keeping your arm just a little bit over, or you even may extend it the other way. Just breathing it through. Excellent. And from here, let's take an inhale as we bring ourselves up back into tabletop, switching sides, sending the left arm this time underneath the right, exhaling, bringing the head down to the mat, extending that right arm forward, coming into thread the needle on the left side. Breathing through the nose, exhaling through the nose or the mouth here, because this is a resting pose. But just make sure you're breathing. Let's take one more breath in this pose. Inhaling through the nose. After our exhale, let's find ourselves coming back up into that tabletop position here. And from here, we're just going to extend the legs out. Let's bring those hands out a little forward, sending ourselves out, coming down. We're going to come into what is called a shoulder pigeon. So to do that, you just want to come into like we are in a T pose here, extending your left or your right arm out. And I'm going to bend my right arm because my wall won't let me extend, but you may bend your right arm if it feels better for you. We're going to keep that right arm out, and then we're just going to roll gently onto our shoulder, allowing that arm to open up as we come into our shoulder pigeon here. We want to keep ourselves active. It's not just a passive layover. We want to keep the body, the feet stacked, ankles stacked, as if we're standing here. So you can go ahead and allow your head to rest on a block if you'd like, or just go ahead and put it on the mat. Doesn't matter. I'm going to try to figure out something here as I have this mic pack here, and I want to make sure you guys can hear me. But we're just going to breathe here, allowing that arm to stretch open. And you might find yourself coming to the back a little bit. Just to keep yourself active, engage your core. Feel that release. Keep breathing. Excellent. One more breath in this pose. And let's switch sides. So I'm going to do it this way so you can see what it looks like, just in case you might have been unsure if you are doing it correctly. So again, you're just going to put your arm out like so. Pull it so you can see me on camera. And then you're just going to roll your body over, keeping your hips stacked, your knees stacked, your feet stacked, keeping the feet arched. You can either rest your head on your hand or on a block, whatever's comfortable for you. But keeping that arm parallel to the top of the mat here, we're just going to release the shoulder from a different perspective. So just the shoulder of pigeon here. Breathing, allowing that arm to open up from the front. Again, you may find yourself falling to the back or having a hard time staying stable. Use your other hand as a brace. Tighten your core. Keep that foot flexed. That will help you keep yourself upright. And just allow your head to rest on the mat, keeping your elbow down from your ears. Take one more breath in this pose. And as we exhale, let's allow ourselves to slowly roll to the front here. Bringing our arms gently inward. Rolling the shoulders out while we're here in this pose. Let's find ourselves coming back here into where we're just going to keep ourselves on our elbows here as we come into, this is called a Sphinx Pose. And this we're just going to use as a transition. We're going to transition into curling the toes. We're going to push ourselves back up onto our knees, slide those knees in, and from here, you can do this. I know you can. Curl the toes, push the hips up into the air. We're going to come into our Dolphin Pose. So allow yourself to relax your feet down. Keep your core tight, and it may seem like you are having a hard time getting into it. If you can't get into the way that I've prompted, come back into tabletop, push yourself into downward dog, and then allow yourself to come down. If you're here in Dolphin Pose, let your head release and relax. A lot of tension we get in our upper back is from holding our head so many different directions every day and just holding it steady, not realizing we're hunching. So pushing the shoulders back from the ears, relaxing the head allows the upper body, the traps there, to release. Let's keep breathing. Feeling that release in the back of the body. Excellent. From here, let's find ourselves transitioning into a downward dog, and you may do that any way you know how. I'm just going to roll my arms over, pushing up, adjusting myself for downward dog. Now, we won't be here very long, so we're going to inhale, sending the right foot up into the air. Let's exhale, placing it between the hands just as before, but this time we're going to drop that left knee. We're just going to come into a low lunge, and if you'd like to extend that low lunge by pushing your foot out, groovy, 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 groovy. From here, we're going to inhale, coming up, and we're just going to exhale, bringing ourselves forward, clasping our hands behind our back, coming into a bound warrior. Now, if this does not fit into your practice today, if you have a sheet or a strap, you may grab onto that and use that. If you don't have none of those, no problem. Just send the hands back and overhead, just like this. You're still a humble warrior. So from here, let's breathe into this pose. And also remember to keep your hips squared. So you want to send that front hip, this right hip that we have forward. You want to push that back and push your left hip, the one that we have on the knee here. So push this hip forward and push this right hip over here back. Right hip back, left hip forward. Keep those hips squared to the mat. Let's keep breathing here. And don't worry about getting as far as me. If this is what you got today, you're still a bound warrior, and it's still a beautiful practice and a beautiful flow. Excellent. From here, if you are all the way down on your knees, let's inhale ourselves up into the back. Exhaling, releasing the hands. We're going to come into an Exalted Warrior, but we're going to flip to the other side. So we're going to bring ourselves to the front as we just slowly curl. So bring that knee down, turning over. Easy peasy, however you find yourself coming into this left low lunge here. Let's inhale the hands up to the sky, dropping, pushing the hips this time, coming into an Exalted Warrior. So we've been humbled. And now that we've been humbled and we love it, we're exalted. And in this pose, if you would like a little support, you can definitely put a block here as well. So, exalting our warrior, being thankful for who we are and what we have. Opening up the chest, releasing tension, sending it away, releasing. That's what full moons are about, right? Right. Wonderful. Let's inhale, bringing those hands down, allowing the self to come up. Easy peasy. Do it nice and gentle. Let's move the brick to the side. I'm going to face you guys and find ourselves facing broadside of the mat if you'd like. I'm going to use my block for this next one. We're going to come into a hero's pose. I'm just going to slide my block underneath my hips and sit right on that there. You may stay on your knees in your hero's pose, but keep your knees parallel if you like. Feet curled, uncurled, it does not matter. We are going to come into Garuda arms here while we are seated. So in order to do this pose, we want to inhale, bringing the shoulders up and back. Let's check our alignment. Make sure our ribs are in over the hip points, allowing the flesh of the sits bones to be moved to the sides so that we're nice in alignment, supporting our tailbone. Don't want to not support that. Shoulders down from the ears. Ears nice and parallel, gaze softly forward. From here, let's inhale our hands up to a T. Let's send that right arm to the front, coming into a cross, left arm over top. Bending our arms up, we're going to take our right arm, the right palm here, sending that over, the left going back over once more, and we're going to clasp our hands together now. If you can get them all together into prayer, that's fantastic. If you can't and you can do this, that's perfect. If you can't get that far, only do this, perf. If you can't do that, keep your hands in prayer. That is excellent too. Every practice is vital. It's vital and is valid. So from here, if we're in Garuda arms, let's lift those elbows parallel to the floor. Exhale as you settle down, releasing the shoulders from the ears, keeping the arms up in that Garuda arm parallel to the floor here. And just breathing, feeling the shoulder tension relax from the back, gently like a hug. Keep breathing. Making sure to keep those elbows parallel to the floor and your shoulders down from your ears. Take one last breath. And now let's release. Allowing those shoulders to roll. Loosening up the arms. We're going to do the other side. So hands to a T once more. Let's send the left arm across the front. Right this time over top. Bringing the arms up. You can hang out here if you like it. You can cross your hands. Coming into prayer pose if you want more. Bringing those elbows, everybody's elbows parallel to the floor. Settling into Garuda arms. Inhale to the nose. Exhale as you release, dropping the shoulders. Elbows parallel. Coming into Garuda arms. Feeling the tension in the back, releasing, focusing on that feeling of openness in the back. Let's take one last breath in this pose, adjusting as necessary, making sure that we're keeping ourselves nice and parallel. Inhale, and as we exhale, release. Sending the hands down to the mat. Rolling the shoulders. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Feels nice. Let's rotate that head there too. Very good. Wonderful. All right, let's remove the block if you've been using one. Let's find ourselves once more in tabletop. Favorite pose of the day. From here, checking our alignment, making sure everything's good to go. All we're going to do is just release the arms forward. Right first, left first, doesn't matter. Coming down, dropping the chest to the mat. This time we want to keep ourselves chest to the mat, chin to the mat, opening up the chest, coming into puppy pose. Very similar to dolphin pose, except this time you're going to feel that release in those upper shoulders this time and the upper back. Make sure we're keeping the feet engaged and the core engaged, sending the hips back actively, squeezing the glutes, making sure we're in a good alignment here. And then releasing. Release your glutes. You don't have to keep them squeezed the whole time. It's just to keep the hips nice and square so you're not hurting yourself. Again, if coming down to the mat is not part of your flow today, that's okay. Come down to here if you got it. Same feeling, same asana, same puppy pose. Just make sure you're releasing your head and allowing yourself to breathe in your position of choice. Excellent. Doing good, you guys. Keep breathing here. I'm going to cheat looking at the next pose. Wonderful. So now we're here in puppy pose, and the next pose is going to be super duper easy to get to. If you're here like me, you're going to inhale. Let's slowly come forward. Slide out the legs. Coming into our Sphinx pose. So our Sphinx pose is just laying here on the mat. You want to keep your shoulders, your elbows underneath your shoulders, so not too far forward, not too far back, but adjust as needed, you know. Keeping them down from the ears, gazing forward, relaxing the head, allowing your chest to sink just a little bit. Coming into that Sphinx pose. The legs extended behind. Keep them engaged. That way you don't slip off into consciousness and the shoulders down from the ears. Allowing that lower back in the middle of the back there to softly loosen. Breathe deeply. Excellent. Let's take one last breath in this pose. And after our exhale, let's exhale and melt, moving the arms to the side, allowing the chest to come to the mat. Bringing the hands palm over palm, resting the forehead gently on the mat here, coming into crocodile pose. Keep breathing, keeping those legs engaged. They may be touching if you'd like, but I like to keep mine hip width apart. And be sure to keep your shoulders down from your ears, and you may need to adjust bringing your hands out a little further, keeping your shoulders from your ears. Take one last breath in this pose. And after the exhale, find yourself coming to lying on your back on the mat here. And I'm just going to switch sides just so you can see me for your benefit. All right. We're going to find ourselves laying on the mat. We're not done just yet. We're going to inhale, bringing that right knee to the chest. We're just going to pull the knee into the chest, into the armpit almost, as we open up our hip here. So don't worry so much about coming into the chest. You want to, it'll feel a little bit more comfortable as you pull it out towards an angle towards that right shoulder. Let's keep that left foot flexed as we just softly move that leg, allowing it to open up. And it might drop a little bit. That's perfectly fine. We're releasing the hips. Letting that leg open and drop here to the side. Breathing, keeping the feet flexed. Almost as if you're standing. Make sure we keep that left hip on the mat as we open up these hips here. And also, if you'd like and you found a spot that feels really nice and good, you want to just kind of keep yourself stretched there, use your block, prop your knee up. Just allow yourself to open up. Like a reverse saddle pose, if you will. Excellent. Let's inhale, bringing that knee up to the front, rotating it. This time we're going to drop it over to the left. You may extend that right arm out to the other side, facing that way, coming into a stretch here. Opening up or releasing the hip from the outside this time, relaxing that piriformis ever so nicely. Keep breathing. And keep your right shoulder pinned to the mat. It's more about opening this up than about rotating the whole body. So shoulders pinned to the mat. Wonderful. Let's pull ourselves back to neutral. Extending the right leg this time. Let's sending it palm over palm or using your strap if you got it. Pulling that leg gently to the chest. It's okay if you bend your knee. Totally cool. And it's okay if your leg's shaking, but keep that foot flexed. Maybe flex and point the foot, actually, rotating the ankle. Let's cool down the body, you know? It feels real good, guys. Take one last inhale, pulling that leg into that body even more. Exhaling, releasing that tension, keeping yourself with the leg, pulling that knee up to the shoulder, up into the armpit almost, rotating. Inhaling, releasing the leg, letting it go down to the mat ever so softly, and feeling how much looser that right leg feels compared to the left. It feels a little longer, doesn't it, right? Excellent. Well, let's do the same thing. So inhale, bringing that knee up to the chest, just to grab onto the knee with the palm, left palm here, and slowly start to stretch it out, bringing it towards your armpit or your shoulder here, allowing it to slowly open. This side's a little tighter than the other. Ooh, that feels good. Make sure we're keeping that right hip on the mat, even if you need to take two fingers and just poke right on that hip there. That way you're mindfully keeping yourself focused on that hip on the mat so you can open up that left hip. And you'll feel the release from your pelvis as your hip starts to separate. It feels really nice. Or your pelvis starts to open up. That sweet release. Allowing the foot to drop to the floor, opening up the hip. Keeping the feet flexed. Oh, that's delightful. Oh, all right. Take one last breath in this pose into the nose. Exhale. Let's bring the leg back the other direction, up to the middle here, coming neutral. Dropping this time the knee over to the right, extending the left arm out, coming into that gentle twist as we open up that piriformis, keeping this time the shoulder, the left shoulder pinned to the mat. That way we're focusing on the piriformis here, opening up that hip. Oh, that feels really, really good. Let's keep that foot, both feet arched or flexed, and you want to make sure you keep your right foot as pointed up as possible. But again, it's really about keeping that shoulder down on the mat and as much as your back down on the mat as possible. Yes, sending, releasing that lower back. You want to just get that there, and you'll feel the tension release in your lower back when you release that piriformis. It's going to feel like magic. Focusing on keeping the back on the mat. Breathing here. Take one last breath. Inhale. Exhale. Release, coming back over. This time extending that leg up, palm over palm behind the calf, coming into that extended leg graze here. Keeping that right foot flexed, and if you need to, bending the knee. No worries. And let's begin to rotate that ankle, flexing, pointing, using this time to really relax those legs as you will. Just keep that right foot engaged. Oh yeah, using a strap if you got one, straightening that leg, bending it. Excellent, releasing the tension. Wonderful. From here, let's inhale and release the leg coming down to the mat. Feeling the legs and equal tension here. Let's take a breath, inhale. And as we exhale, let's find our hands coming down to the mat, allowing our feet to open up as we come into our Shavasana. And I allow you to take your Shavasana, not allow, but I encourage you to take your Shavasana any way you'd like. I'm going to take my Shavasana sitting up in a lotus position on my mat today. But if you'd like, go ahead and keep yourself reclined. And let the eyes softly flutter shut. I'm going to sound the bell just to align the energy into relaxation. And allow the sound to release your mind, taking a deep inhale through the nose and out through the mouth, relaxing into your Shavasana, softly fluttering your eyes shut. Don't worry about the time. I'll wake you up in a few. Excellent. And before you come out of your Shavasana today, I'd like to read for you a passage from the Daily Stoic. Today's passage is about the truly educated aren't quarrelsome. It reads, "The beautiful and good person neither fights with anyone, nor as much as they are able permits others to fight. This is the meaning of getting an education, learning what is your own affair and what is not. If a person carries themselves so, where is there any room for fighting?" Epictetus from Discourses. Socrates famously traveled around Athens, approaching the people he disagreed with the most and engaging them in long discussions. In these discussions, or what record we have of them, there are many examples of his conversation mates getting exasperated, upset, or aggravated by his many questions. Indeed, the people of Athens even eventually got so upset they sentenced Socrates to death. But Socrates never seemed to get upset himself. Even when talking about matters of life and death, he always kept his cool. He was much more interested in hearing what the other person had to say than making sure he was heard, or, as most of us insist upon, winning the argument. The next time you face a political dispute or a personal disagreement, ask yourself, is there any reason to fight about this? Is arguing going to help solve anything? Would an educated or wise person really be as quarrelsome as you might initially be inclined to be? Or would they take a breath, relax, and resist the temptation for conflict? Just think of what you could accomplish and how much better you would feel if you could conquer the need to fight and win every tiny little thing. Food for thought. Excellent. And with that, find yourself making your way easily to seated. It doesn't matter how you do it. I like to roll to one side and then roll up gently. And if you can, do that with your eyes closed. Let's inhale our hands up and overhead once we're seated, bringing the hands together, exhaling, clasping down into prayer pose. Let's take one final bow here as we sit together in class. And I'd just like to thank you all for coming to class today, and I hope you had a great time because I sure did. And I'd like to send you off by saying, be the light that you wish to see in the world. See the light that you wish to see in the world, because every one of us has got a little bit of light under the sun. And with that, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Have a wonderful day and a great weekend. Thank you for joining me today. Have a wonderful time.